Hello and welcome to Beth. This is going to be a little absurd. You'll get that joke in a moment. An absurd video because it's completely different from everything else I've posted, but at this point with YouTube striking me for absolutely nothing over and over, I don't know what I should even attempt to say or do. Anyway, what we're going to do in this video is read up to 500 quotes. Probably not all 500 because fuck that noise. But we're going to read some Albert Camus quotes. And Albert Camus is a philosopher, and he is the one who came up with the idea of absurdism. Okay. I'm not going to say 1 and 2 and 3 before each one because that just gets annoying. I'll just take a little space, you'll know. Sorry, I got a text and I wanted to read it real quick. I hope that wasn't rude. Okay. Should I kill myself or have a cup of coffee? In the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. And that makes me happy, for it says that no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me there's something stronger, something better, pushing right back. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. And don't walk, or just walk beside me and be my friend. Sorry. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. You will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. That part. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. That part. The struggle itself towards the height is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. If you don't know who Sisyphus is, then you can check out the myth of Sisyphus. It's kind of, it speaks to absurdism. It's a story, a really long one. A good one, so check it out. Anyway. Man is the only creature who refuses to be what he is. I rebel, therefore I exist. Freedom is nothing but a chance to be better. Always go too far because that's where you'll find the truth. Yeah, that's me. Nobody realizes that some people expend tremendous energy merely to be normal. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Can't we just... Oh, that was the end of the quote 5 quotes ago. If this Kindle book of quotes has repeats, I'm going to have repeat meltdowns and start repeat cursing. Okay, no, I don't know. Okay. The purpose of a writer is to keep civilization from destroying itself. Oh, I did not know that, and I am actually a writer. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. That sounds familiar. I'm starting to get mad at this thing. Fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. Life should be lived to the point of tears. Blessed are the hearts that can bend, they shall never be broken. When you have once seen the glow of happiness on the face of a beloved person, you know that a man can have no vocation but to awaken that light on the faces surrounding him. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. Oh, 3rd time's the charm. There's scarcely any passion without struggle. That part. Sometimes carrying on, just carrying on, is the superhuman achievement. Peace is the only battle worth waging. Psychology is action, not thinking about oneself. A man without ethics is a wild beast loosed upon this world. I would rather live my life as if there is a God and die to find out that there isn't, than live as if there isn't and die to find out that there is. The realization that life is absurd cannot be an end but only a beginning. People hasten to judge in order not to be judged themselves. When the soul suffers too much, it develops a taste for misfortune. Yes, everything is simple, it's people who complicate things. There's but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide. I love talking about suicide in a philosophical manner. Oh, failure and suicide? Maybe this will be a philosophy channel, who fucking knows? I feel like I'm not allowed to do anything, fuck. I'll make a video saying why I was banned this last time. Y'all won't believe it. Yeah. When the soul suffers too much, it develops a taste for misfortune. Yes, everything is simple, it's people who complicate things. There is but one truly serious... Oh god, sorry, I kicked the table. I already read those 3. This is such a best video. Oh lord, life is meaningless, but worth living, provided you recognize it's meaningless. Find your happiness in yourself. You cannot create experience, you must undergo it. An intellectual is someone whose mind watches itself. But in the end, one needs more courage to live than to kill himself. Some people talk in their sleep. Lecturers talk while other people sleep. The only serious question in life is whether to kill yourself or not. We are rebels for a cause, poets with a dream, and we won't let this world die without a fight. I know of only one duty, and that is to love. What is a rebel? A man who says no. Integrity has no need of rules. Forever I shall be a stranger to myself. This world, such as it is not tolerable. Therefore I need the moon, or happiness, or immortality. I need something which is perhaps demented, but which is not of this world. But above all, in order to be, never try to seem. There's so much stubborn hope in the human's heart. There is no sun without shadow, and it is essential to know the night. This world, such as it is not tolerable. Therefore I need the moon, or happiness. God, I'm dumb right now. But above all, in order to be, never try to seem, like I just said a second ago. Oh Lord, someone needs to put me in a home. There's so much stubborn hope in the human heart. There's no sun without shadow, and it is essential to know the night. Those were the first 2 of the last page too. I swear it's not me repeating them, they are too. Some of it's me. Real generosity toward the future lies in giving all to the present. One cannot be a part-time nihilist. The absurd hero's refusal to hope becomes his singular ability to live in the present with passion. Travel, which is like a greater and a graver science, brings us back to ourselves. For the absurd man, it is not a matter of explaining and solving, but of experiencing and describing. Everything begins with lucid indifference. It is the job of thinking people not to be on the side of the executioners. Freedom is not a gift received from the state or leader, but a possession to be won every day by the effort of each and the union of all. Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. Look, those who lack the courage will always find a philosophy to justify it. You will always win if you make an effort, no matter how much. However, if you fail, it means you were too lazy. A man who has become conscious of the absurd is forever bound to it. But what is happiness except the simple harmony between a man and the life he leads? Betrayal answers betrayal. The mask of love is answered by the disappearance of love. Democracy is not the law of the majority, but the protection of the minority. Oh, microphone. Democracy is not the law of the majority, but the protection of the minority. The absurd has meaning only insofar as it is not agreed to. Where there is no hope, it is incumbent on us to invent it. I know myself too well to believe in pure virtue. There's always a philosophy for lack of courage. Life can be magnificent and overwhelming. That is the true whole tragedy. Without beauty, love, or danger, it would almost be easy to live. Nihilism is not only despair and negation, but above all the desire to despair and to negate. So true. I was a nihilist for a second when I was a teenager, and then I was like, this is dumb. Mother died today, or maybe yesterday. I can't be sure. I like that quote. Bye, Mom! Just kidding. There's no love of life without despair of life. Idleness is fatal only to the mediocre. Nothing in life is worth turning your back on if you love it. At any street corner, the feeling of absurdity can strike any man in the face. Women are all we know of paradise on this earth. Ain't that the truth? All I know of morality I learned from football. The Byronic hero, incapable of love, or capable only of an impossible love, suffers endlessly. He is solitary, languid, his condition exhausts him. If he wants to feel alive, it must be in the terrible exaltation of a brief and destructive action. I feel that in my bones. Every ideology is contrary to human psychology. Beauty is unbearable, drives us to despair, offering us for a minute the glimpse of an eternity that we should like to stretch out over the whole of time. Beauty is unbearable. Death is unbearable. The most knowledgeable person in one domain may be the most ignorant in another. The greatest of man lies in his decision to be stronger than his condition. Travel breaks down a kind of inner structure we have. Stripped of our props, deprived of our masks, we are completely on the surface to ourselves. This very heart, which is mine, will forever remain indefinable to me. Between the certainty I have of my existence and the content I try to give that assurance, The gap will never be filled. Forever I shall be a stranger to myself. Sorry about that. What is a rebel? A man who says no, but whose refusal does not imply a renunciation. The gods had condemned Sisyphus to ceaselessly rolling a rock to the top of a mountain, whence the stone would fall back of its own weight. They had thought with some reason that there is no more dreadful punishment than futile and hopeless labor. That was a little bit about the myth of Sisyphus. It's about Sisyphus who pushes a boulder up a hill forever and ever, and it's completely futile. Okay. I've seen enough of people who die for an idea. I don't believe in heroism. I believe it's easy, and I've learned it can be murderous. What interests me is living and dying for what one loves. I've always said, there's not enough people willing to die for their dreams. I'm willing to die for my dreams. So all a man could win in the conflict between plague and life was knowledge and memories. With rebellion, awareness is born. A man's work is nothing but this slow trek to rediscover, through the detours of art, those 2 or 3 great and simple images in whose presence his heart first opened. Every minute of life carries with it its miraculous value and its face of eternal youth. A nihilist is not one who believes in nothing, but one who does not believe in what exists. It is always easy to be logical. It is almost impossible to be logical to the bitter end. There is no fate that cannot be surmounted by scorn. To be happy, we must not be too concerned with others. The evil that is in the world almost always comes of ignorance, and good intentions may do as much harm as malevolence if they lack understanding. There are plagues and there are victims, and it's the duty of good men not to join forces with the plagues. After a while, you could get used to anything. That's so true. The welfare of the people in particular has always been the alibi of tyrants. For there's merely bad luck in not being loved. There is misfortune in not loving. That's a good one. That's a really good one, actually. For there is merely bad luck in not being loved. There is misfortune in not loving. Very, very pretty. In order to understand the world, one has to turn away from it on occasion. But what does it mean, the plague? It's life, that's all. The harshest winter finds an invincible summer in us. We always deceive ourselves twice about the people we love, first to their advantage, then to their disadvantage. It takes time to live. Like any work of art, life needs to be thought about. I may not have been sure about what really did interest me, but I was absolutely sure about what didn't. The most important thing to do every day you live is deciding not to kill yourself. I think that's enough for now. Check out Albert Camus. It's spelled Camus. I was saying Albert Camus for years until recently. He's a really really insightful philosopher. I like his thoughts on suicide, but I also like Schopenhauer's thoughts on suicide and a few others. I really like suicidality when it comes to philosophy. And I remember there was one lecture I was listening to that was talking about the importance of suicide as an option always, so that you don't take it type deal. Anyway, I hope you liked those absurd ramblings, and I don't know when I'll see you next. I don't know how I'll see you. I don't know what I'll be doing. I don't know what I'm gonna post, because everything I do is apparently the worst fucking thing ever, and I need to be, damned to hell. Anyway, I will actually go to hell. I'll talk to you later.